He got part of it. Stupid.
Yeah.
That's funny. My audio's probably been shit the whole time.
Yeah, you sound a lot better than what you have the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, that sucks. Real bad.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day that the audio for this whole StreamYard thing sounds like shit. But
That's just, well, usually I don't listen to them till later because they're all fresh, and then I go back and like listen to see what kind of dumb shit I've said.
yeah,
So
I noticed that when I was trying to do like a solo recording to test the sound, it sounded terrible. I was like, "Why is this?" And it was automatically selected to my normal like webcam microphone. It
yeah,
wasn't selected to the actual like studio mic. I was like, "Well, that's stupid."
interesting.
Do I sound decent now?
Well, you always did. I just didn't know
Okay.
I sounded like shit.
I didn't know if mine sounded like ever sounded off or not.
No.
So, word. Well,
Well,
welcome back to Dark Side of the Scene. I'm Brandon,
I'm Ed.
and this is the last scheduled interview we have right now. So I guess no one wants to come on the show anymore.
You can come on the show and talk to us. I mean, we're not that bad, but a break is cool. Like a fresh perspective of things.
Yeah, we were on a break for about 6 months.
Yeah,
we came back for a month, and now we're going back on a break again because no one wants to talk to us.
that's fine. Whatever. We're not getting. I think because we're not paying anybody.
We don't make money. We pay to play. It really is
Pay
the
to.
scene.
It's funny how you pay to play even to have a podcast. So
We got to pay to do the podcast, and no one watches it, so it's just for my own
yeah.
entertainment.
So I guess I have a rant. I guess.
And some updates.
I guess it's more of an update. Like, you heard it first. If you haven't, we fired our bass player. Yeah, kind of one of those things. What's that?
I'm gonna say dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. It was kind of one of those things. Well, I'm not going to get into too many details about it. I mean, it just wasn't working out. I felt like, as far as like personality wise, I think the other members and myself were getting a little fed up about this person's behavior, whether or not, I mean, I'm not bad mouthing the guy completely, but I don't even want to bad mouth. I don't bad mouth anybody. I just feel like it just wasn't working, and we all knew this, so we had to let him go. And that's about all I'll say about that. We will be hoping to find a new bass player. I hate finding people, dude, especially bass players and drummers, but like that's the thing. Like this whole, I mean, I don't want to be more blunt on this show because that's what it is, but like, I guess to me, like, you need to find people that you can really like be brothers with and hope that I don't know if this makes sense. I feel like when you have some good members, you clash real well with them, and no matter what, you're able to express yourself completely to them. And sometimes I felt like I couldn't. That guy would not express himself very well to us, as far as like I don't know. It's hard to say. Does this make sense? Any of it?
I will say this: I've never met the guy, so I won't make any judgments on people that I don't know. But I do know from when we did our episode on my other podcast, before he was ever officially in the band, there was band drama, and I was like, that should have been a red flag.
Sure.
That's all I'm gonna say. If the red flags are already there from the get go, it's kind of one of those things. It's not gonna change.
Right, and
But
like like I always give everybody the benefit of the doubt. To
you're too nice of a person.
I think I am, and that's what sucks about me sometimes is that I just try to give everybody a chance. Like I said, I'm not hating on anybody or nothing. I just feel like they weren't the right person in the end run for us.
No,
And that's all I'll say. So
it happens.
It happens.
It happens way too
Well,
often.
like I said, I could really be a fucking asshole and like talk about the dark side of things, but I won't. Like, I just don't want to right now, unless I get asked.
It's too fresh.
It's too
But
fun.
no, I don't think you'll be asked because it's not like anyone's really paying attention to what we do here.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it. So again, that's a big announcement for us. So if you play bass or want to play bass, hit me up, and maybe I can get you squared off, and hopefully you gel with us, and it'll be good. I mean, just prepare not to make any money, but we're swell guys. We're pretty mellow. I'm a pretty mellow guy. Anyway, enough of that.
To all 4 people that listen to this show, if you play bass,
4 strings.
yeah, 4 listeners and 4 strings. That's all you need.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the chances that the 4 listeners can make themselves their own band? One's a guitarist, the other one's a drummer, the one's a bass player, one's a vocalist.
Yeah.
Become the Dark Side of the Scene band.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can bring Larry on. This will be the 3rd member from Chokesetter we've interviewed. So we're the official Chokesetter podcast.
I guess so.
We've got one more guy we got to interview from their band, and then we'll have the whole band interviewed.
Oh, that's true. But like, man, I'm trying to get Dustin on because Dustin knows a lot of. Has a lot of stories, I'm sure. But anyway, that's beside the point.
I don't know. You've been trying to get a lot of people on, but I don't ever see anything or hear anything.
I know, like everybody's too busy. I think nobody's got time to talk. I guess I don't fucking know.
They're probably like, I don't want to go on that stupid ass show.
No, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you either.
Wow. Well, we're gonna bring Larry on, so hang tight, and we'll get this show going. And that was quick.
How come there's no countdown for him?
I don't know. It's just instantaneous.
I hit like an atom bomb, man. I'm just in there.
He's like, boom.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfucker. See, like,
Yeah.
we need one of those like shows where we talk shit and then the person we're talking shit about like shows up like that. Like, what?
Yeah, you should have it like you were talking shit about me, and then I show up and be like, "What the fuck you just say, motherfucker?"
Yeah, see, exactly. Set you up.
And be like,
Larry
"Ah."
Bone. Is that your real last name? I was curious.
I get a lot of people that ask me that, and the answer is no.
That sucks. It's a cool name.
Well, that's why I go by that. My
Gotcha.
last name is actually hard for people to pronounce. So when people mispronounce it, especially if I'm in like an office setting or at the license branch or something, it's not only embarrassing, but it really aggravates the shit out of me because they'll be like throwing letters in there. You know, like my last name's not Polish, but imagine someone that doesn't know anything about Polish names tries to pronounce it. You know what I mean? It gets really irritating. So I was like, I'll just use an old nickname and it works better. So
I was gonna try to guess what it was, like Bonakowski, something like that.
it's actually, it starts with BUN, but it's not Polish though.
Oh,
It's Bunnell, Bunnell.
holy shit!
Yeah,
I
and
did
people
not know
say
that.
Bunell or Brunel. I'm like, show me where there's an R in my name, and I'll let you call me that. You know. So
That makes sense.
yeah, Bunnell's the worst.
Bunnell.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, little
Sweet.
tidbit.
Well, it's nice to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
You've been part of the South Bend area scene for probably a long time,
Long time.
and yeah. So now that we got you on here, so I guess tell us about when you first started being in an instrument, like early age.
Well, it's funny. Like, so my dad and his brother, my one uncle, they were both drummers. And growing up as a little kid, I always wanted to play the drums. Like, he used to piss my mom off because I'd beat on the couch with wooden spoons and stuff to like Phil Collins videos and stuff when it was on MTV. There'd be dust all over the place in the living room, you know.
Yeah.
He wanted me to play clarinet, so I actually started playing clarinet when I was in 4th grade, and I played that miserable thing till the end of 8th grade. Then we like switched school systems. I was like, Yeah, Mom, sorry. If I play this instrument as a freshman, I'm not going to have any friends. So, I quit playing clarinet and I started playing piano, but privately, not for the school. I played that for a couple of years, and then I eventually just switched to drums casually, and there it was. I started playing drums when I was about 17. So,
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't really regret piano or clarinet that much anymore because it really taught me how to read music. Drum music's not the same. So
Yeah.
like I can look at music and I know what it's gonna do because I can't say I can write a music score or anything, but I can read it and I know what notes are what. Um, it's funny. My mom always said you're gonna regret like uh, not playing clarinet and stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then some years later, I don't know if you guys ever knew, but I moved to New Orleans for a while. And I lived there, and some of those Cajun bands, those swing time bands down there, like clarinet players were making like $2,000 a week.
Holy shit.
I was like, yeah, okay. Well, I'm not gonna tell my mom about that, but
Man.
all right, yeah, yep. So
Huh.
kind of how I got started.
Interesting. So, see, I thought you were a vocalist the whole time because of that.
Everybody said that,
The
man.
ass
Yeah,
puppets. Yeah, and then you were playing
yeah,
drums. I'm like, what
yeah.
can't this guy do? So, and so
I
when did
can't
the
play guitar, and I wish I could.
really, of all
Yeah,
things?
no, it is hard. I tried playing guitar when I was in grade school. I took 2 lessons. I couldn't pick it up, and then truth be told, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, I tried taking lessons from Joe Feingold. I
Okay.
made it through one and realized I can't get my hands to do this shit. So,
Really?
yeah, man. I mean, I know I could probably learn a lot easier if I did stuff like in drop tuning because I know
Oh, the
Bob
one.
33. You remember Bob?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was a guitar player either, but he was telling me how easy it was to learn stuff in drop tuning, like well enough to where you could at least play your own riffs to somebody if you wanted to show them an idea in your head, But
Huh.
I don't know. I never followed through it. It's just one thing. I'm too old to try and learn guitar. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
So, Nicholas says, "Oh shit, Larry is a sick tattooist. So, tattooer. So, how did you fit all that in?
Um,
Like, were you a
tattooing?
skateboarder too? What's that?
You mean tattooing?
Yeah, tattoo. Like, were you a
Uh,
skateboarder? Because that's usually how it works. Like, people skateboard
no.
and then
Well,
no.
I skated in school, but it didn't last very long. My career was cut very short at the ripe age of 17 when I sprained / tore my ankle ligament for like the 6th time because um, a rail slide does not like me to wouldn't let me slide all the way down.
Right.
So
Right.
I kept spraining the same ankle to where my grandfather was actually a foot surgeon, and by the 6th time I did it and I went in to have him wrap it again, he took an x-ray and he's like, okay, you see all these little particles floating around in your ankle here? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, that is your tendon in pieces. Like, if you tear this really bad one more time, I'm going to have to get in there and sew this thing together. And it'll almost mean having to cut your foot almost halfway off to get to it. So I just quit.
No, that
Yeah.
makes sense. No, makes sense.
I love street riding, but I can never do any tricks, man.
Okay.
And I never tried to do like any ramp shit like that. I was like, I could. I'm not built for it.
No,
It's like
neither
you're
am
fucking
I.
heavy,
I get it.
dude.
I get it. No.
But tattooing, I actually got into. I was just going into a shop one day to see about having a piece on my arm fixed, and it ended up being owned by Half Pint, if you know who he is.
Yes.
And we were old friends and stuff, and he was just kind of like, hey, I was thinking about taking on an apprenticeship or apprentice if you're interested. And I was on dead end job, like number 37 in my whole life. So, yeah, I just decided, fuck, man, I don't have anybody to blame but myself if it doesn't work. So, luckily, I made it work.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I guess like as your drum career started, what was your first band?
We were called Misery. I was
Misery.
18 years old, and I played with it was Chris Connolly. I don't know if you ever knew him. He was in the Ass Puppets.
I met him, yeah.
Yeah, and then another guy, Jerry Walker. He was pretty big in the scene for a long time too. And then there was another guy named Corey Cooper. He was a bass player that could sing. And we actually started off by playing. I think the first songs we ever played together was "Seek and Destroy" by Metallica and Iron Fist by Motorhead. And it was funny. We learned those two songs all the way through. I'd only been playing drums for maybe like 2 months at that point, so I wasn't anything spectacular, but it was still fun to play. We used to have parties at my aunt's house right down the street from the high school, like every Friday and Saturday, like my whole senior year. And we'd have keggers and they'd come and listen to us play the same two songs like over and over again. So that's kind of like how our first band started.
There you go.
Then eventually later, as we got better, we learned like more songs, and we're playing like little underground shows around here. But I don't know how old you guys are, how long you've been around, but for the longest time, there was nowhere for original bands to play around here. I mean, it's pretty slim now, but
yeah,
there was nothing when I was like at all. Like when I was 19, 20, even in my early 20s, like we had to fight, and I pissed a lot of people off by trying to stew people up to get some places to play. So it was a pretty big ordeal.
This is South Bend we're talking about, correct? Like, just
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, like I came in late on the scene, and I think like at the time when I joined or put playing was like 2008. Like as far as joining my first band, I don't know how fresh it was around that time. I feel like it was like one of these things, just like up and down. Like I remember the Fever would be packed with shit, and
I was kind of like at the very tip point for at least for all age stuff that I'm aware of. Like when it came to this area, I don't know about way up there. But like
Yeah. So I mean, for like the longest time, there was nothing like that at all. Like Cheers didn't even have original shows; it was all cover band. Like you, the only chance that an original band would get to play, um, or even like what we were playing, our covers, we were playing like Slayer, Metallica. Nobody's gonna go listen to that shit,
right.
So imagine like just all the bands in the area play like the bands do at the Phoenix, just classic rock covers, the 80s stuff and all that. And I'm not knocking on those bands, but for in the 80s, 90s, early 90s, that's all there was. And I started getting pissed. You could go and play an open jam if they had it, but you'd never get hired for a gig or be able to book your own show, And then Bill Finn started Liquid Magazine, and I actually had an article in there that he gave me, like a monthly column, and it was called The Bone Factor. And the very first issue that ever came out, I wrote this article, and I basically dissed every cover band in the area, just telling them they sounded like absolute shit, and they're all posers. And this thing went all over town, and in like a week, Bill's getting hate calls, like, who the fuck does this dude think he is? Like, it
Hell
was
yeah.
where I was like, I was afraid to go to the bars by myself because if some of these dudes would have seen me, and I laugh about it now, but I was actually a little bit scared for a minute because I was just like, I mean, I meant what I said, kind of, but I was a little bit a dick,
Well, I mean, I think you had, I mean, it makes sense. We were all angry to find, you were just angry because there's no place for you, original bands to play. I think that's kind of fair in a way. Like, why would you all be so close-minded and not have something here?
Yeah, well, and then the funny thing is that like there were a lot of underground bands that were like in my age group that were really talented, man. I mean, even back in the day, like Jason Fowler's first like punk band and stuff was really talented, So Cheers was actually the very first place that opened up to let original bands come through, and that took when basically she like had seen, I can't even remember who it was. There was like a couple original bands, maybe I think one of them was mine, and we went and played, and we had a lot of people come out like to see us at Open Jam, and she was like, all right, I'll try giving you guys a weekend show. And it was like us and a couple other bands, and the next thing I know, she's giving us like one night a week or one night a month. It's been a while, but
Mm.
we started getting original bands in there, and she was like, "This is great, I love it." It was packed, and it just slowly built up, built up to where a couple more venues here and there were just kind of letting their guard down a little bit.
Huh.
And I mean, back then, even now, just like you were saying a few minutes ago, there's no money in it. You're
Right.
like, you have a killer show and make a couple $100, but then if it doesn't go into the band fund that replenishes all your merch and all that stuff, then that's only like 40-50 bucks per person at the most. And that's if you make 100, that's $25 a person.
Yeah.
But back then, even though just like we're doing it now, I don't do it for the money. It's like
Right.
I playing in front of people, them, you know how it is, seeing people cheer for a song that you write, your material is better than any fucking drug that anybody could ever take. It is just, it's insane. That's why I think people kind of scorn is like, well, why do you do it if you don't make money? I'm like, because you have no idea what it feels like, obviously, to
Yeah.
write a song and have a crowd of people go ape shit over it. It's insane. It's an adrenaline rush, like 10 roller coasters coming straight out your asshole. You know what I mean? I mean, at
Yes.
least that's how I feel about it.
Yes. I know that feeling, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, that's a whole like dark thing because like South Bend's a huge city and like you got a few places otherwise, but like obviously I keep hearing how it used to be better and it's like why is this like how could such a town with diversity just have nothing to go on? I mean, like I said, I think people just this is an area where it's more work than it is fun. Like I'm trying to think of like, how a show comes through town. Well, not even here, but like there'll be an awesome concert like on a weekday, and most people can't go because they have like the regular 9 to 5 job, and some of them don't give them vacations. And I think like I I'm trying. I don't know what I'm trying to say is this is slave labor like up in this area.
Well, what I've noticed, even by playing a lot more out of the area too, is we're not alone there. There's a lot of
Mm,
areas that become like that too, like become Thursday through Sunday cities. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday shows are not busy at all.
mm,
Um, it's weird like that. There's a lot of bands that are, unless you're like on a super well known Live Nation like uh, known level, you're booking tours and having like Monday, Tuesday off because
yeah,
you're not playing for any numbers. Um, and it is weird, like because like when you brought up Club Fever, there'd be like national bands come through there and it'd be a Tuesday night and the place would be absolutely packed, you
yeah,
know. And the problem would be that like for the longest time you couldn't get a local opener on there. I mean, still to this day you have to sit there and grovel for somebody. Like think about it. Like you have the shows at Four Winds Casino that are brought on by like the Bear or like the Big Growl. And I know it's Live Nation stuff, but you mean to tell me that you can't get 1-2 locals on there to like it would help push a little bit at
yeah,
least.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Like, you sure have a battle of the bands promoted or something, but it's like, when I remember back in the day when the Berries say we care about the local scene, they don't. They have
Uh,
one program to pay tribute, and it's like they don't do nothing, man. They don't announce your shows or anything like that.
that's true.
Yeah.
I kind of
So
remember that. Whatever happened to the Big Growl? Like, is that even a thing anymore?
I mean, I think I heard like the last one they did. It was like it's kind of funny. Everybody's like Big Growl announcement lineup coming up soon, and then they announced it. Everybody's like, "Wow, you could have just put Yoko Ono on there. It would have been fucking dope."
I remember
That's,
making fun of the big. It was like the the female contest to be like the Growl girl or whatever the fuck that was. You remember
dude.
that?
I vaguely, but
Didn't they do one out of the Fort Wayne Bear where it's like the rock chick or whatever?
Yeah, but we had one up here too.
yeah, Fort Wayne would be a little bit different. I mean, give him credit. Like that place definitely been a little bit more of a rock and roll
Oh
town.
yeah, Fort Wayne
And,
actually. Fort Wayne is
um,
a good spot for sure.
it's weird lately now, I mean, it's like because we've played there a bunch and
Yeah.
opened up for some nationals there, and
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers on some of those shows, you're like playing for. We opened for I Hate God, and there was probably not even 100 people there. You know, we were just like,
Really?
yeah, it was
I
nuts.
remember that show. I thought it'd be more packed than that. Huh.
We figured the same thing too, you know. And I mean, we're just like, really, this is nuts, you know. And another thing is that like Pierre's great venue, but they don't pump like they used to. They got their Facebook page, but they used to do radio ads. They used to do all that stuff back in the day, you know. And I'm not like bitching at them or whatever. It's like
Right.
everybody, but just follow. It's a great venue.
I wonder if the radio station really is to blame for both cities. You know what I mean? Like, because nobody,
know.
yeah, because everybody listens to the radio, and it's like that's where they get most of their information. But I feel like the Bear never, as you said, the Bear never pushed for local, even though they said that. And then I feel like they did a little bit back in the day, but now it's like non-existent. I don't even listen to the Bear, so I couldn't tell you.
I remember when Tommy Carroll was on there, he was pretty good about pumping local stuff and like Tim Rickard and stuff like that. A couple guys, but no, it's just sadly radio has just kind of turned into. It seems like if it's not making us money, there's no point, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people got to realize that it's like radio used to be a big thing, and it's slowly, I think, phasing out because people are listening more to satellite radio and stuff now more than
Yeah,
Brandon, I feel like we're leaving you out there, but you haven't really got a chance to say much.
I don't say a whole lot in general.
No.
No.
I feel like he's the third guy at the table. Hey, Brandon, it's your turn to go get a beer, man. Why don't you go get
I'm the host of the show, but Ed does all the talking for me.
I know, right? Because
you just want to give me a shot.
I'm over here promoting the episode, trying to get more people to watch it. So,
okay.
I'm on social media.
Kevin Collar says it's just as terrible today. I think he meant by the South Bend area.
Yeah, that's every post he makes on Facebook. Kevin Collars, Captain Positivity.
I mean, it is annoying. I'm in his side as it is. Like, you know, like.
Oh no, he's right.
I'm tempted to like. This was funny because I Uber on the side. I'm tempted to put flyers in the back of my seats and like with duct tape and be like, force them to look at that. Like, come to the show, college kids.
Well, I mean, you know, when it comes to the scene around here, it's like, you've got people that will come out, but it's hard because I don't know. So like a lot of people that used to come see my bands play back in the day, they're all my age, so they just want to stay home, you know, going out and staying out. I mean, even me, I struggle staying up past 11 o'clock.
That could be a factor too. Like, you know, they don't have the energy or they got the kids, and I could see where eventually like that happens and nobody wants to go out anymore. I feel like this is a funny thing. I feel like more people, the older they get, the more social awkward they get versus somebody like me who is a lot more socially awkward.
Yeah.
When I was younger, now I'm like more like, hey, I want to do stuff. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's my thing to keep going.
Yeah. Well, and like, you know, not that I can say I'm Mr. Perfect and go to every show, but it's like my attitude is I try to go to as many like local gigs as I can, and sometimes it's tough because I'll have plans to go to a show and I'm like, I should stop in and make an appearance because I like to try and come and support everybody and say hello. And I'll get off work and I'm just a little more tired than normal, and I have this habit of like I get dinner or I cook dinner when I get home and I sit down and eat, and if I sit on that couch long enough, I will pass the fuck out. You know, it's a sad situation, but I was just gonna say, you know, there's a lot of people out there, you know, I won't name names, and it's not like you or anybody, but there's people that are friends of mine that, well, we come and see us play and blah blah blah, and I never, ever see them out at any show ever. And my whole thing with that is like, if you want your people to see your band, why don't you go to some shows and make an appearance yourself? It's respect, you know. It's just like at this point, the shows that Bill puts on or we try to put on ourselves should be, you know, a little more than half of the people that want to come see us play, and then maybe a good half of other local musicians if they're not playing that night.
Right.
So, and like I said, I don't go to every show either. Trust me, I
Right.
don't. There's times I say I'm going to come and I don't show up, and it's usually because there's these floating out of my fucking head. I'm just as guilty of it, you know.
No, I mean we all are, but like I feel like a lot of the shows are on a Friday, and it's already like not the fun. You're already winding down from work on Friday, but like I think they start doing Saturday shows, and I feel like those are more convenient
Yeah.
to do. You know.
Well, and another one that gets me, all
Yes, they are. It's true. Corey saw it.
Another one that gets me, and I'm not knocking. It's just funny, but you know, people almost use it as an excuse. Well, I don't want to go in there because it's too smoky. I'm like, motherfucker, it wasn't very long enough ago. Every bar was fucking smoky, and you still
It's
came
true.
out. You know, I'm like, there's a door. Go stand outside for a few
Right.
minutes.
I feel like there's no bars left. I think the Phoenix is the only bar people can smoke in, if I'm corrected. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
any bars, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you can smoke at Indiana Tap. Maybe they have it to where you can't. I know people
You have
usually go back.
Yeah, they go in the back. I haven't seen I was just there Saturday. I didn't have a single cigarette like scent because I never went outside. So yeah, you can't smoke in there. Pretty sure. So back to the
interview.
the cat. So like back to your bands. So like how many bands have you had? You think? Like I feel like you've been in a million of them. I don't know why I think that, but
Oh wow, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I've had bands that I started with friends, and I've had bands that I joined later. I've had bands that I subbed for. You know, I've played with a good amount of musicians in this area. You know,
I wasn't there,
there
Corey.
was there was a point in time, like back in the day, I was subbing for drums for like a lot of punk bands. You know, I was in a lot of multiple bands with Jason from Distractions. He had like 3 or 4 punk bands I was a part of.
That guy is walking punk rock. If Jason ever sees this, that dude is
Fowler
walking
is
punk
an
rock.
awesome motherfucker, man.
I've never met him in person, but we're Facebook friends. But that dude is like punk rock.
He's just all rock, dude.
Yeah.
He's come a long way. You know, before I remember back in the day, it was like calling him "fuck it Fowler" because if it wasn't punk, he didn't want nothing to do with it. He's like, "That's not punk. I'm not going to do it." You know. And now it's like he's definitely got a wider variety of music. But cool thing was, even though that he was always just a punk dude, like he helped record so many like stuff with my bands that like, I mean he's done a lot of fucking work for my bands and stuff that were metal and all that stuff. He's just an all around good dude, man. He's a hard hitter in the scene like a lot of us are, you know. So I'm proud of that guy. He's a good dude.
Hell yeah.
So, but I mean, honestly, how many bands have been in with? I don't know.
A lot. Well, okay. Let's say for the whole topic of this show, we're talking about the dark side. We kind of started with South Bend's dark side of how like it's up and down. So like, I'm trying to think of it. For example, like, what is the shittiest thing you've had encountered in one of your bands? Like, you know, like it could be anything. You know, like that thing that thing that makes fucking being in a band a pain in the ass.
Oh,
So many, huh?
no.
No.
I mean, there were bands that were in that we'd get in like not like physical fights, but scream fights, just because we were such close friends and stuff, and you know, everybody'd have to take a time out for a couple of months or something like that.
So actually, before I interrupt you, like, so usually I mean, that usually happens. You have like arguments in your band, and
Yeah,
you don't kick anybody out. You just like argue, and then like hopefully it clears up. Back in the day, you know, like.
Man, I think maybe back in the 20s there was a point where we were doing little impeachment efforts, like, you know, like your attitude sucks, you're fired, and then we'd realize it's not the same, we'll just let you back, kind of thing. It even happened to me at one point. I got kicked out of the band, and they tried getting another drummer that just wasn't any good, and They're like, "Will you come back and play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry for being a dick." I think I was like 21. And
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
that was a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I've never really had anything end on a bad note to where I wouldn't talk to somebody again or
Right.
anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been kind of lucky there. Anybody can be a pain in the ass in a band, even me. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit that I can be a picky dickhead. And the thing to do is, like you said, find a group of guys that are your brothers that um, you just know how to deal with that. And I didn't really know if we'd be capable of doing it till we did our first tour together last year, when we were together for 2.5 weeks, like
Yeah.
every single straight. It's like you kind of got to know how it is. It's like you started to see and be able to tell if somebody's getting a little grouchy, and you just kind of step back for a minute, let them like have a minute for themselves, give them the back of the trailer to go take a nap,
Huh.
and everything was fine, because it was just a matter of when you practice once a week, you see that person once a week. Okay, that's the guy I know once a week.
Yeah.
When you're around somebody every fucking day, every single minute, you smell their shit, you smell their feet, and you fucking have to look at their fucking dirty clothes, and their clothes get mixed up with your clothes and shit. You're just like, all right, I just saw a side of you that I don't see even with my fucking family.
Yeah.
And you just realize it's part of the gig, you know what I mean? So
I mean,
yeah.
like, yeah, it sounds like you guys get along from every guy we almost interviewed from your band.
We do, man. And it's like so we have our moments where like, you motherfucker did, but it's very rare, And
That's
if
good.
if it ever is like any sort of like little twingy fucking, it's mainly because something's not getting done, but it's not anything that we're doing. It's just
Right.
we're at a standstill waiting for something to happen, and we're just like, what the fuck's going on with this? And and everybody's like, I don't know what it is. And I'll find out. Let me type, dear motherfucker, what's going on? And so other than that, I got a good group of guys. Yeah, I hope they feel the same way about me, but I don't ask.
They have not so far.
The other two have not mentioned anything bad, so
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. They're just talking about the random shit they see on the road and whatnot. Like, and that's what I'm getting to. Like, as your musical career has gone, usually, if your other bands, maybe I can't even talk today, dude. Like any other like
it's
crazy,
not just today.
it's just I just stutter a lot. But any like crazy experiences or just some weird shit. That's
Man,
basically the
I'll tell
basis of the
you,
show.
like the
Yeah,
very, very first band I was in, Misery, when I was a kid.
yeah,
We, mind you, like I said, I hadn't been playing drums not even a year yet, and we were playing like house shows and stuff like that, and it was fun because people were like, "Wow, you play Slayer and stuff like that," and I'm not saying I played it well, but it was good enough to where I was keeping a beat, and you could tell it was Slayer. There was a guy, and his name was Otto. He's on Facebook. His Otto Rocks, and we met him at University Park Mall, and he was like this dude with long blonde hair, and he had I mean, he was total rock and roll, like the bandana, walking through big earrings, and you know, he's like, hey, you dude's playing a band. I'm probably exaggerating, but that's
mhm,
how we ended up meeting him and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm a promoter, and he got us this gig at a little bar in Niles called the Looking Glass. And I remember we were so stoked, man. We were just thinking to ourselves, this is it. This is the big time. We're
yeah,
at a bar, and I'm not even 21, and all this and shit. And we pull up, and it's this little fucking shithole dive. And there's like a broken down car in the fucking parking lot with like
yeah,
wheels missing and stuff. And we get in there, and I just remember I turned and looked, and I saw a stage, and I was like, I get to play on a fucking stage.
yeah.
And we were there. It was like Friday early evening. Nobody was even there yet. It was the two bartenders, and they were these two Arabic guys. And I can't fucking remember their names, but one of them had a really big overbite, and he was he went to go get a beer for somebody, and I saw him drool in the beer, like a big drool go in the beer mug, and he just handed it to the guy, and I was just like, "All right, well, I hope you guys brought beer because we're not drinking it anymore."
That is fucking
And
gross.
yeah, well, it gets better. This is fucking insane. So we get on stage and we're setting up, and I remember I just got my drums set up, and we had to start playing. He wanted to start playing at 9 o'clock. There was maybe 6 people there, and there was these 2 dudes playing pool. We were in 2 minutes to our second song, and these 2 dudes at the pool table started fighting, and one of them pulled out a knife and stabbed the dude in the fucking stomach, and
Hey,
bled all over the fucking pool table on the floor. And we just we just remember I stopped playing and I heard a guitar going like
feedback. Yeah.
I'm like I felt my stomach getting queasy. I was like, I just saw a fucking dude get stabbed at my
Hell
very
yeah,
first
that's
gig
fucked, man. That's
ever. And it just was. I remember the cops came, and then like the next thing you know, 10 or 15 more people showed up later, and they just mopped up the floor and covered up the pool table, and we kept playing.
the fuck.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I didn't know what to think, man. But I look at it now, I was just like, yeah, I saw somebody get stabbed at the very first gig I ever played. You know?
That is a Roadhouse moment from the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. It was fucking nuts, man.
I remember like playing the Anchor Inn, right, and like somebody got shot down the road. I think they died. I'm not
I was
sure.
gonna say,
That should not.
yeah, somebody got shot in the fucking parking lot too, but you know,
No, that was somebody else.
yeah.
We should. I asked Bill if he wanted to come on here. I'm sure he's got crazy stories. I'm sure like he'll conclude that one.
Bill's got stories. Probably he doesn't want even anybody to know, but he'd still tell them if you.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, yeah, like, wow, that's.
I'm
the
surprised
first.
he said he wouldn't be on it. Are you sure you've asked him?
I've asked him, but like, you know, how he is about getting
He
back.
relishes the moment to do some shit like this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think
Yeah.
he said he was gonna be. We're gonna get him on later. He said he didn't have time at the moment. I don't remember what he said. Some bullshit, but yeah, we need
Yeah.
we definitely want to get a promoter on here that's like obviously toured and all that other shit. So did you
Yeah.
tour with any other band other than like Chokesetter, or is that your first touring band?
I mean, that was the first tour I've ever been on. I mean, I've been on a couple like regional weekends with other bands before, but
Right.
they were more. Yeah, that was like my first foray into actually going out there, long trips all the way out to the West Coast and stuff like that.
So I heard you were in a band called Ass Puppets. Is that correct?
Yep.
How did that band come together, and how'd you end up singing?
Well, okay, so when I started singing, the reason that happened was because I was in a thrash band with Chris Conley and Jerry Walker, those guys I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And what we were doing is we were writing a lot of material and just recording it, but we couldn't find a singer that we liked. And I remember that we recorded like a really rough demo on a 4-track of some songs we wrote. And I just went over to Chris's house one day and I started doing some vocals. And like back then, my vocals sounded a lot like Max from Sepultura, and the guys liked it. And they were just like, well, why don't we just record the songs on our own with you singing? And if anything, we can look for a drummer. And for the longest time, that wasn't panning out until the band we had at the time. We did find a drummer. His name's Nick White. He actually plays bass in a band now called Zero something.
Hate Zero. Yeah,
Hey Zero. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always forget that name. But yeah, he was like a drummer, and I was singing in that band. We were called Psycho Membrane, and we played. That was all metal. It was like a cross between Sepultura and like Meshuggah, and we played a punk show at a VFW hall, and actually people fucking loved it. But it didn't last very long because I don't know. People just I don't know. There was a guy that quit for a stupid reason, and I don't even remember why. But then we were back to stage one. I was like either trying to drum or I was trying to do vocals for the bands. And the Ass Puppets came up because Chris was doing a band with the guys from the Ass Puppets, Bob and A-Bomb, and it was Steve, who was the vocalist at the time, Steve Jose. And Steve didn't want to sing anymore, so it was just basically Chris, A-Bomb, and Bob writing his music. And they're like, "Hey, man, do you want to do some vocals for us and stuff?" And at that point, I was just kind of upset and done with bands. Like I just got out of a band doing vocals. We were like a rapcore band from Chicago called God Size, and our first show we opened up for this band called 5.0. We played the Metro, and it was their signing party to Roadrunner Records, so it was packed.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was my first show with them, and I didn't even know all the lyrics yet. And I was reading off cue cards that were taped to the stage, and I go out there to play, and like I'm playing the fucking Metro, and I look, and the whole place is packed. So you're like 1,000 fucking people, and my stomach just sunk because everybody was just staring at us like nobody'd heard of us. And I saw a dude that I knew from St. Joe, Michigan. He's like, "What up, Bone?"
Nice.
In the middle of the crowd.
Nice.
A South Park
You're a
moment.
popular
Like,
guy.
I'm just like, oh Christ, So anyway, we played that show, went really well, and that band fizzled out because there was just some bullshit. They wanted me to re-record this album with the old vocals, and I didn't want to do the old vocals because I wanted to do my own. So anyway, that fizzled out, and I was upset, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with fucking bands. I put all this time into it. Chris and A-Bomb and Bob come to me. They're like, hey, we got this music. Do you want to sing for it? And I was like, the only way I'm getting in another fucking band is if we do something stupid. Like, I want to wear costumes. I don't want to be serious. I want to sing about
Yes.
fat girls and shit in our pants, and we wear a mask and have some dumb name like the Ass Puppets. It's literally how that started. And they were like, okay. So they showed me this music, and I came with these ridiculous fucking lyrics, and they're just cracking up like we're trying to practice them, and I can barely get through a song because I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, I can't believe you're entertaining this fucking idea, you guys. And then we played a show in Garth's basement at a punk show, and fucking people loved it. Like for the longest time, there were punk bands saying, "You guys are more punk than anybody I know because you just don't give a fuck,"
Nice.
Yeah. So that band actually started off as an accident, like a joke, and got farther than any other band besides Chokesetter I was ever in. So yeah, it was retarded. Like yeah.
I remember my old band played with you guys in like I don't know what it's not a bar no more, which is weird. It's like an Indian like grocery store, but it was a restaurant before that. And for the life of me, I can't think about it. It's by Notre Dame. I know that. It was like a nice stage too.
Oh, it was the Golden Gnome. That place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, like that place
that was a cool venue.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? Another one that died.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's so many good venues were like closed up.
Perfect area too, just because it's like Notre Dame right there. Like,
it was just different. It was something different. It was a cool stage. The bar was separate from the main room, so if you wanted to get out of there and chill, you could. Yeah, that was a cool fucking venue, man. I was bummed when that place went down. I was like, damn. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, that's how it is sometimes. Like,
yeah.
That is annoying. Whatever.
But you said you played with us?
Yeah, I was in a band called Unquiet Eddie back in the day.
Oh, I remember that, man.
We were okay.
Yeah, some cool songs, man. I remember hearing you in recording, and I was like, that's some good shit. I read the drummer was really fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were okay. But I remember that was actually my first band, like for like the longest time. And
all right on.
And so I would play around the area, the same venues, like the Elvas.
Brandon, you playing any bands, buddy? You still there?
I used to.
You used to?
Yeah, I haven't done anything in like 4 years.
What was the last band you were in?
The band was called To My Dismay.
What? What? Just say that again.
The band was called To My Dismay.
To My Dismay. Yeah. I thought you said like to Midas, like Midas touch.
To Midas touch. Apparently,
fucked up emo name is that, man?
Oh.
Like, what?
Apparently, before I met Brandon, they played at fucking McCormick's, and I guess some guy got fucking pile drived in the floor, and they called the ambulance, and it was a show I didn't see, I guess.
That's what I'm talking about. Those are the shows. Like
Yeah.
a show that gets fucked up.
It's funny because they made us open. So we played, and then the next band played, and the guy got his head split in half, and it ended the show. So the two touring bands that came through from out of state didn't even get to fucking play because
Oh, damn, that sucks. Yeah,
the cops come and shut down the whole show.
Ugh.
I was like, well, I guess we're not gonna get paid
I've
for
never-
this one.
I've never played McCormick's. We were supposed to, and then it like fell through, and I'm like,
I just
Damn
did think another story to tell you. If I, go
sure,
ahead.
sure. Go.
Yeah, so he brought up the cops thing. So
Uh-oh.
there's a club in downtown Mishawaka called Diamiki's Club. I don't know if you know it. It's like a Polish club. I think Carissa Squadroni bartends there in the basement. Well, anyway, they have an upper level where you could rent out the hall, and there was a big stage. And back in one of my bands, and when I was like 21, we rented this place. It was like Mr. Diamiki, old Italian guy, had no fucking clue what was going to happen. It was going to be a birthday party, and it was basically my band and two other bands, and they were thrash bands too. And we bought kegs and got somebody to bartend. Well, we played this show, and it was packed, and nobody was carding anymore.
Oh shit.
Dude, people got fucking shit faced. And I remember the last band was getting done with their second song, and the cops raided it. Like the whole fucking bar, the front, all these police officers come and shut the music down, and they start carding people. And they're just like, everybody's trying to get out and run, but there's cops waiting at the side doors to try and catch them and all this
Oh
shit.
my.
And Chris Conley, he said, you know who he is?
Yeah.
Was in my band at the time, and he was wasted. He was 21. He was 20 something. But he gets on the microphone because the PA is still on. And this was no little practice PA. Like I spent like $200 for a sound guy. It was a massive PA. So
Hell yeah.
loud as fuck. And he gets on the microphone and he goes, I just want to say this to all you guys. I fucking hate cops.
Oh,
And every
Lord.
police officer froze and turned to look to him and started walking for him. And he goes, oh. And tries to, he puts the mic and starts to get out the back door.
Wow.
Oh my God.
He looks like he would say that. I don't know why. I mean, as an older guy, like I could picture him just saying that now, just the, you know, his long hair and everything.
he's done that shit. There was a house party, same thing happened. Like somebody came for the noise, we were blasting music, and he opens the front door, and like in the doorway, there's nothing but cops' faces, even to the floor. Like they were just in a, like the whole doorway was filled with police officers' faces, and you heard the record go. It's all quiet, and Chris goes, well, we've all seen the TV show. We know you're going to come in anyway, so let's go. You know,
nice. Wow.
He's had some good moments, but yeah, good times, man. Wow.
Sounds like it. So like this bar doesn't exist no more, right?
Which one?
You said the one to upstairs, but you guys were, yeah,
it does. They won't rent to any bands, that's for sure. Trust me, we fucked that up a long time ago.
Where?
So,
downtown South Bend?
Downtown, no, Mishawaka. I want to say like Spring and 8th Street or something like that. It's literally like one of those like VFW club style things.
Gotcha.
You have to have like the membership from the family and all that stuff. But they run it for like parties and all that. And they had never dealt with anyone on our caliber. And oh my God, dude, we were so hungover the next morning. We still had our shit there and glasses all over the place. So I guess he cleaned it up, but all our band equipment was at the back wall. And I remember we pulled up when it's like 2 p.m, middle of summer, we're sweating our asses off, just pouring sweat, banging fucking headaches, loading up our shit in our trucks, and there's a funeral fucking lunch there. So there's all these people looking up, sweaty fucking long hair dudes.
Bad.
probably smelled like booze, shit unloading our stuff, putting it back in the truck and stuff. Yeah, that was some funny shit, man. I've had some
Oh,
times where there's been cartoon moments. They'll probably come to me as after this program goes. I'll have to be like
it
cartoon.
happens. It
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
So yeah, it's funny because like again we've had like all the members of Chokesetter, so it's like I don't know, maybe there's a story that they didn't talk about that on your little trips and or maybe even like some gigs with Chokesetter now that we're like in the now, like anything silly happen being in that band.
From the usual laughs, maybe I don't know. Like oddly enough, there was only like two things on the tour that kind of stood out, and that was one. Um,
Mhm.
I was driving the rig, and we were getting ready to make a pit stop, and I just all of a sudden I felt Steve lean up from the couch behind me like really fast. I didn't see it in my peripheral vision. I felt him. It was like a big gust of wind, and I could tell it was him. And he's like, "I got to go to the bathroom now." And I was like, "Oh, okay, man. Well, we were gonna stop at this Walmart in about 20 miles." He goes, "Now," and I'm like, "Are you sure you can't wait till Walmart?" He's like, no." So we literally had to beeline. I've like cut over 2 lanes to get to a gas station exit. And I remember we pulled up. I even hit a bump, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And we
Uh-oh.
pulled this really little gas station. I was like, I turned to tell him, I was like, "Dude, I don't even know if there's a bathroom here." And I didn't even get finished, and he was already out the door.
Oh
He's
damn.
walking, holding his ass, trying not to like shit himself. And he walked in. I'm sitting there laughing. And yeah, he must have found a way in, that motherfucker. He came out like 20 minutes later. He was like, "Jesus Christ." Hey, Steve's got a knack for eating stuff he knows it's gonna do that to him. I'm constantly yelling at him. We'll go to a gas station. He'll get like those fucking taquito looking tampon things,
Oh,
like,
tornadoes,
yeah,
chicken,
like you just
chicken roll
you
ups.
you see that the minute you eat it, you're gonna be shitting your
Dude,
fucking.
I feel that way. I don't know why, but
That's
fucking eat
Steve
them.
all the fucking time, man. Like he'll buy red chips, he buys red
Oh hell.
burritos, he'll find a red pickle and eat that motherfucker, and still, yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom. I almost just be like, "Man, here's one of them little fucking the stools the little kids sit on." You know, what I mean, like sit on that motherfucker, but
Yeah.
that smell real bad. So, yeah. The only other time, same thing, Steve, we were on stage at the Whiskey Go Go, and you can't see it because they filmed the whole performance, but in the middle of like our first song, Steve slipped and bit it, dude, and like fucking his guitar's in the air, just like ringing out on open E. He's trying to gain his balance.
Brr.
Like I saw it happen, and I'm like, oh my god, I'll bet you anything the camera was right on him when he did that, you know. And sure as shit stinks that footage. There wasn't one view of that happening, but it was funny. I was like, you of all people, we're gonna play the Whiskey Go Go in L.A. like a
And fall
bucket,
on your ass.
have it recorded, and you bite it on the first song. You know what I mean? So
That's funny. He never mentioned these things. Like we're just putting him on
no,
blast right now.
no,
Like
he knows, he knows.
he knows, but he never talked about
No,
it.
never. No, he won't admit I'm his shit counselor. I just be like, dude,
Oh,
I can watch your ass more than your wife, you know, because you'll eat a billy goat covered in Tabasco sauce if you're not fucking careful.
yeah.
So yeah,
I've never had a wait. What? Coal miner fucking lives for eating tornadoes from the gas station. If you haven't had Speedway for dinner, then you haven't toured. Says Ian. Says Ian.
I mean, I can't eat that shit because like I know, and I mean, I am a person that enjoys his shits.
So
So
okay, like so for maybe for like I would say touring tips. Like what would you recommend you eat on tour yourself, like to stay away from that shit?
man, I'm big on I'm big on beef jerky and string cheese or like cheese because that stuff it's filling and it coats your stomach to where you're gonna have like a nice solid food the next day. You know,
I
it just
don't
kind of matches together like a meat dairy snowball that kind of I hope nobody. I hope nobody female wise is watching this. They're gonna be like, "There you are."
Probably
No,
not.
no,
Son
nobody
of a
watches
bitch.
this
Yeah.
shit.
But anyway, um, man, oh my god, dude, Gardettos, the rye chips, holy
Okay.
shit, those are another one of my favorites. And do not drink Sprite past 7 p.m.
Sprite? Why?
Because dude, it's the burp central. Like, yeah,
Okay.
I'll be belched until like the next day if I drink Sprite late. It's bad. Have you ever seen those challenges? People like they have the new Sprite drinking shit, man. It's like, hang on, I'm gonna get a soda right now, actually. But yeah, Sprite's like ultra burp city, man. I don't understand it myself, but
Oh, I guess so. Like carbonate. Yeah, it's like overly carbonated for some reasons unknown.
yeah.
So, like on tour, like okay, so you're eating like, the gas station foods. Like, is there ever anything in the budget to say, well, tonight we want to eat like some normal shit, or that never happens? I was curious.
On the short runs, yeah.
Yeah,
Like if we're doing like a weekend or something. I make sure that I budget it to where we I at least pay for one meal for all of us. It comes out of like the band fund. I handle the finances and stuff, and
nice.
I've got means for like extra money to where even if we don't make enough that night and off merch, I'm still gonna treat my guys because they work and they're not getting paid and they bust their ass, man. They're fucking great dudes. Like I can't say enough of how hard they work. Harder than me in some aspects. So, I mean, there's times we'll just do a weekend run. I'm like, dude, there's a killer steak place, got 5 stars. Let's go. Or, stuff like that. Tour was a little bit different because we were like kind of on survival, but when we were out west, we tried to live off In-N-Out Burger as much as we can. And fucking, was it In-N-Out Burger?
I don't know. I never
No.
ate there. It sounds good.
No, it wasn't In-N-Out. God damn, it was the other fucking Good Burger. No, is it? No. I don't
They
know.
have a good burger.
No, it's not Good Burger. I can't fucking remember.
Sonic.
It's one of the good. It's not Sonic either, but it's the only one you can get out west. And when I tried my first one, hang on,
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
No.
Yes, that's it.
I
Yeah,
had
You
when
can get
one in
Whataburger in
Florida.
the South. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was fucking delicious. We probably ate there.
I know there's like an In-N-Out out that way too.
Maybe it is.
Yeah,
Maybe it is In-N-Out.
yeah, In-N-Out I've had. It's okay.
I've never had In-N-Out.
Whataburger.
Did you guys ever stop at a Buc-ee's? Because one day I need to stop at one of those.
I just did.
Fuck you.
Oh no.
I bought
If we
some jerky.
did, I didn't go in. I tried to eat like either like we said beef jerky and stuff, or I did Subway. Subway never does me wrong. It's always fresh, and I always get filled up. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because one thing I'll tell you, and especially me being a bigger guy, is like eating like shit every single night and then trying to play. It's tough. It's eating a greasy ass fucking burger every night, and then you have to try and get a good night's sleep, and then get up, and that means loading, unloading, all that shit, staying up, selling merch, and it catches up with you, man. Definitely.
So, I do have a question. Like when you go on tour and you're obviously stuck in a van, how do you guys manage to sleep comfortably?
Well, that tour that we did out west, we rented an RV.
Okay.
So yeah, and well, it was cheaper to rent an RV than it was to get a Sprinter van from this place that rents to bands specifically. Because the van that we got, it's not bad for like local and regional shows and stuff like that. But we were a little skeptical to try to take it all the way out west, especially coming through the desert. Because we were like, man, if that thing fucking overheats in the middle of Texas, we're not going to be enjoying life very much. And we had long drives in between. So I was like, let's just take the gamble. I'll rent this RV. And it actually was nice. It was just, I didn't think about this because I don't know much about it. And Dustin might have known, but still he was like on board for the experience. You can't sleep in an RV when it's moving. The suspension is not made for it because I got the big one where it said it slept 8, so it slept all 4 of us comfortably. That was a big bed in back, a big bed above the cockpit of the steering column, and then there was a long couch that turned into a bed, and then the kitchenette part with the booth turned into a bed. Well, in the middle of the night after a show, I'd try to get some sleep after the gig. Jesse would drive through the night. Well, I tried to go to sleep in that queen bed, and sure enough, man, every little bump we hit, that bed's going boom, 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 boom. And I'm bouncing off the
Shit.
goddamn mattress. And I made the mistake of the first night I put all my spare drumsticks in a cabinet above the bed, and they got loose. So they were rolling around like fucking rolling
Click,
pins.
click, 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 click.
And I mean, I couldn't even get my balance to get up there to get them out of there because I would have fallen off the fucking bed.
So
And
your gear fit in the RV as well too, right?
no, we took our trailer behind.
Trailer.
Yeah, we have a
Okay.
5x8 that keeps all our stuff. So we toured our gear, then like all our clothes and personal stuff and the guitars were in the RV.
Okay.
And the reason that it was cool though is because it was comfortable. Like, you know, if you were sitting up there and stuff, we had the air on while we were driving. It was a comfortable ride. The gas mileage was terrible as fuck. But you know, there were times where we could pull over and sleep in it and save money on a hotel. You know, like we crashed in the parking lots.
Walmart.
When we made it out to California, we actually had 2 days off before our California shows, and we plugged into a KOA campground down there and hung out and grilled out and got stoned and shit like that. That was pretty fun, you know. So the RV was fun. It wasn't very cost effective, and it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to, because I'm thinking, oh man, it's got a shower and all this stuff. Well, that shower basically it's not even the size of a phone booth. So I'm getting in it, and if I try to turn it on, I'm basically getting to wash my head, my shoulders, the top of my belly, and whatever drips past my belly onto my feet. The rest of me is totally dry.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, they don't make it
So
very. Yeah.
I spent a lot of washing in Walmart bathrooms. And I'll tell you what, during peak hours, trying to wash your balls in a sink with people coming in and out of the bathroom is very hard.
I can imagine. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in a band. Leave me alone.
I mean, for real, like two people leave out. I had like 5 seconds. I'd have to like go with like water
Right.
and get down.
Take the towel and go like this. Holy shit, dude.
I didn't even have enough paper towels to try and wipe down there, so I'm probably walking out and dripping all over the fucking floor. You know, yeah, it was a funny experience, man.
All I want for Thanksgiving dinner is tornadoes. Chicken or beef? Chicken or beef, Cole. Actually,
well,
like
some listeners. It looks like
I'm
you got
like,
some listeners.
oh yeah, we have a good time when we talk about tornadoes. Like, you know, I have like a soft spot for fucking all beef Speedway hot dogs, and I get pissed off when the worker doesn't put any on the roller fresh. Like, what are you fucking doing with your life, man?
Dude, I mean, there's times that I crave a hot dog so bad that I'll take some of those fucking Indiana Jones looking ones that have been on there like for 2 fucking days that you bite into, and it's like a corpse's finger and shit like that.
Yeah.
Once in a while, that does the job. You know, I'll just be like,
I don't know why. Maybe
I'll be like, pretty much that was dust, not grease, when I busted it open, but it still used to be beef. So, you know,
I feel like there needs to be a fast food hot dog place chain, and I don't know why. Well, Portillo's, but that's kind of fancier in my opinion.
Funny story. I was thinking about that. First time I ever seen it, I thought it said Portobello's. I thought it was a mushroom.
Yeah, I could see that. You could get like.
I told my wife, I was like, "You want to go to Portobello's?" She's like, "What?" It says Portillo's. I was like, "I thought it said Portobello's."
Who makes a mushroom hot dog? What kind of hippie shit is this? You know, that's funny.
I feel like it could be an Italian restaurant with that name. I mean, they have like an Italian sandwich right there. I don't know.
We ate there once. It was like a year ago, and I didn't think it was worth the $70 fucking it cost to eat there.
What'd you get?
Well, I fed the whole family, so I had a hamburger.
Oh, that's not what you get there, but what? Well, actually,
I don't know. I'm not a big wiener fan, so.
You don't like wieners, your mouse? Oh, I do.
No,
I'll admit that. Hell
depends.
Yeah. I mean, it's about as funny as the first time that T. Allen's Gyro on 31 changed their sign, and I thought it was a strip club. I was because the way they lit it up, I was like, "Is that a new strip club? Oh, what's T? Oh, okay, they changed the name.
T.
I
Allen's
didn't
the
know
cat.
it.
The cat.
Yeah, it's my table. Say hello and go over there. Go on. Thank you.
I feel like T. Allen's and like fucking King Gyros is gonna get a fucking war for. It's literally the same shit almost, right?
All right,
Pretty
how
much.
do you pronounce it? Is it gyro, gyro, or euros?
Gyro. You got to say it like
We say it gyro, but it's
Gyros.
supposed to, yeah, gyro is like the Greek way. So
Yeah.
if you don't have any Greek friends, it doesn't matter. You know.
I don't have any
I,
friends.
I don't eat it anyways.
I call it lamb shavings. It's really all it is. You know.
Yeah.
It's not even all lamb. It's like beef, pork, and lamb mixed together into a big wheel of goodness.
It is
It's
good.
yeah.
It's
pretty
a
amazing.
guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Huh. So I was gonna ask. He says Euro. Wait, Ian? Aren't you Greek? You have to be. You're like 20 foot tall with that beard. Ian is from the Black Order. I don't know if you guys ever played together or not. Probably not.
I've seen him play at Indiana Tap.
Probably was him. Yeah. Yeah. We should.
Yeah, but we never played with them. No.
You know what we should do? We should all join forces and take over the Tap sometime.
I'm always down to play if we got time, man. The thing we try to do now is not play South Bend more than twice a year, just because.
Right, that makes sense.
It's just it. As much as I love my town and everything, it's kind of like when you're a newer band starting out and you want to play as much as you can to kind of build up your following and get gas for your fans and stuff. It's great,
Right.
but
I was way off, Ian. Sorry. Anyway,
after a while, you can flood it, and like if they start to see you're playing in the same area multiple times a year, they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to go to that one. I'll go to the next one. And then if they don't catch that one, I'll be like, well, I'll go to the next one. And the next thing you know, you're not pulling numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, we should next time. Are you guys playing the Tap anytime soon?
We booked a gig there for May the 4th.
Okay.
But I'm bringing like kind of out of town bands in for that one.
Right. We'll do one later on because we're playing there like at fucking 420 again.
Yeah. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, it's something like late summer, early fall.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure it out. We'll talk to Bill.
Yeah.
Or I could try to figure out something in Goshen at that one place again. I need to talk to that
Ignition was fine, man. I mean, we had a blast there, but I tried emailing that dude about getting a gig, and he didn't even fucking reply. So
he's terrible. I work for him now. Like I work at the guitar store, like giving lessons. So I have his number. I'm trying to figure out
an exception because that place was a blast. We had
well, the thing is, it's like he doesn't like do it often, and so it's not like a permanent staple venue to have things. So far, I don't know what's going on. I might actually text him tomorrow asking like what's going on with the shows. A lot of it has to do with like whether or not people actually want to come to the shows, and he makes money to pay the sound guy and the people that work there. One of those kind of deals, I think.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like you never know. So
yeah.
I'll figure it out with him. But good venue. It's like in my town, and I lost track of thought. I lost track of thought just now.
I know you're in the middle of asking a question. You're like, oh, by the way, so, and I do it too, so I get it.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Fuck. Anyway.
Yeah. I should let Brandon say something because he's been trying to chime in too. Brandon, you're doing great, man. Like I want to know more about you, buddy.
There's not a whole lot to know about. I'm just
Do you still play an instrument?
No, I was a vocalist.
So you just sit in that dark ass green room and talk to people like me.
Sometimes.
Well, look, you see, he's promoting his other show like that. What the hell did you make that hoodie there? A shirt?
My wife did.
Tinfoil Tales. What's that?
That's my other podcast. That's actually a lot more. I don't want to sound like an egotistical asshole. Was a lot more successful than this one.
What's it? Is it like conspiracy theory and shit like that?
Yeah, stuff like that. There's aliens, UFOs, and cryptid monsters, and all sorts of stuff. I interview people that seen Bigfoot or think they've been abducted by aliens or all sorts of crazy shit.
That's cool.
But
I don't have no stories like that. That'd be fun to be on that show,
it's funny because the amount of people that have listened to that podcast today, and just today, is more than what has listened to this podcast in the last 6 months.
Do you try bumping this one on that one at all, or no? We're like, well, this one can.
I've mentioned it here and there, but the people that come on there and listen to that show don't give a shit about local band stuff.
Yeah,
or even music in general, right?
Yeah. No, it's hard to find a niche for this because people struggle to even go to shows anymore and support bands, so they're not going to listen to a podcast for 2 hours about a band member. You know what I mean? Unless
does it only show you like the live numbers while you're doing this live, or does it show plays after you've?
I see plays every day.
Okay, no, I meant like for this thing here.
For what we're doing right now, there's 3 people watching live.
Okay,
and then
but I mean, more people watch later. Do you get to
more
see
people
those?
will watch later? It'll continue to go up, but the ones that we've done for the last 5 weeks, the first one we did was 5 weeks ago, and it's had like 21 plays. So it's like no one's really listening, no one's really paying attention.
Okay.
I know, right?
Oh damn! I gotta try and pump that, man. I mean, things would be a little.
We were doing good for a while. When we first
yeah.
started, we were doing really good, and then some shit went down apparently, and we haven't recovered since then.
Not related to us.
No, nothing to do with us, but something that happened on an episode, and we got fucking accused of stuff that had nothing to do with us.
Do I get a story, or do I gotta go watch that?
We can tell you a story.
Tell me a story.
I can have him tell you. How about that? I'll have him tell you.
I'm on this side of you. You're pointing to the wrong side. Basically, we had someone come on the show, and instead of just talking about music, he mentioned something that happened because it is a dark side that he got canceled for everything he does because he got accused of beating up an ex-girl, which she was arrested. He wasn't. And there's some other shit going on. But the moment that episode aired, anyone that knew her started harassing us because that's all they do to him. But they started calling us racist. They started calling us women beaters.
Yeah.
And leaving shitty reviews. They went to Ed's band and said they're a bunch of racist hillbillies and just drug us through the mud for no fucking reason. And ever since then, our downloads have been like in the shits. We went from getting like maybe 60 downloads the first week to getting like 5.
Well, what was their correlation for saying that you guys had anything to do with it?
Because he was on our show, so because we gave him a platform to talk about his bad experiences and how he's not able to put music out because he gets attacked by all these people, they came and attacked us. And
were the allegations true against him? Like, did he really beat up?
I don't, to our knowledge, no. Like, he was never charged with anything. They arrested her. He had photos of himself being beat up. He had bloody wounds and everything else. They're like, well, someone had to get arrested. Like, well, why wouldn't they arrested him if he actually had beaten her? They're like, well, you don't know how the police work. I mean, yeah, I do. They're going to have to arrest the person who's doing the assault. Why would they arrest? Usually the guy's always the one getting arrested. Why would they arrest the woman?
Right.
I could see it being a sensitive issue, but that's a shame that it had to trail.
We didn't have any intentions on the episode turning into what it did.
You were talking about it, yeah.
Right.
Like, we didn't know.
I mean, no woman deserves to go through that. You know, it's if it's
no, if he really did it, like we said, he's a piece of shit. But there's been no proof that he's ever done. He's actually provided proof that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And I've offered her a spot to come on the show and tell her side of it, which has nothing to do with music. But we wanted to make it clear to everyone that we're equal opportunists here. Like, we don't have a dog in this race. Anyone that wants to come on here and clear the air. I ended up deleting the whole fucking episode because it had nothing, like, there wasn't worth the drama. And it still wasn't good enough. We're still getting harassed. I think we just did, what was it, a couple weeks ago? Someone from Florida was harassing us. And I was like, what the fuck for? Like, what do we do? It's been like 6 months.
Traumatized from it or something. But yeah, I mean, anything like that stuff, it's definitely a can of worms. It's too bad.
Yeah, that's what We
Guy's
didn't
a good
expect that
guy.
either. We just want to talk about band shit and like, you know.
Yeah. No,
I mean, we talk about random other things aside from like the music and, you know, just to
there's a place and
Yeah.
time for everything.
Right.
You know? Like,
But I
yeah.
understand why he said it was music related because, again, he was doing a band. His band ended up kicking him out because they were being harassed and death threats to his band. He
Right.
moved across country, and then anything he does now, he still gets harassed. So he says that's part of the dark side for him is the fact he can't release anything because all these people are constantly harassing him. Now, again, I wasn't there. I don't know the story. All I know is I did a background check. I paid money to do a background check. He had nothing on him. He was never arrested for anything, nothing. She was. So, but they dropped the
I
charges
guess
on.
it's one of those
They,
things. Unless you were there, you really don't know. But
Right.
yeah, like I said, I don't really give a shit one way or the other. Like, if he beat a woman, then yeah, I wouldn't have had the guy on there. But we didn't know that's what it was about, and
We don't really do research on people we have on here. I probably should do
well,
more
no.
research.
And at the same time, it's not like you get into this and like all of a sudden, you're interviewing me, and all of a sudden, oh, there was this one time I got in a
last
fight,
week's
I
episode,
beat up a bunch of fucking, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. No, it's because it's a topic that should just kind of stay where it's at. You know what I
last
mean?
week's episode, they were talking about some guy that they were jamming with, and come to find out he was making all sorts of inappropriate, like, child molesting comments to like little kids, and it kind of creeped them out. And I'm like,
Man, I'll tell you what, that stuff.
I put the
people
dude on
getting
blast
busted
right
with
on
that
air.
stuff.
I don't give a shit. I know no one's watching, but I went to his profile and I showed it on the screen. I was like, this is the motherfucker they're talking about. I was like, fuck that guy.
Right.
Yeah. The amount of people that are getting busted for that stuff lately, holy shit, it's fucking crazy.
It's like, I've got kids. I've got a fucking.
Are you talking about that biker guy that does the little like live videos?
No, man, like I knew a guy that he was really big in the scene for a long time around here. He's an old friend of mine. I don't want to say his name, but
Sure.
he got busted for it. Then it was a long investigation.
Nice.
Like right down the street from my house, there's a diner I go to every week, and the dishwasher there, 21-year-old kid, just got busted for it. Like the federal marshals were investigating him for a long time. He's just like this skinny, dorky kid that he just, but he was really nice. You would have never known, but
Wow.
yeah. Then up here, it's like they've been following him for 4 months for child porn. I was like, what? And it's like one of those things you never come back from because it's like there's no justification. It's like it's not like, say, I was on some porn site and I downloaded a video of somebody that was only 17 when they filmed it or some shit. Like they're gonna look and beyond that. I mean, if they bust you for child porn, it's gonna be children. So
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
yeah, I don't. Yeah,
To all the people that, to all the dudes or females that do that, there's always somebody for you of your age for you. You don't
Actually,
need to
do us all a favor and just
don't do that.
just get rid of your genitals and whatever else you have to do.
Yeah,
right. There's somebody for there's somebody for everybody. Don't be going
to the music scene. I'm not
right. Yeah. This show's gonna get canceled now. Shit.
It's the last one,
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
The last.
That's all we need.
Here's
Yeah.
a dark side that can. It's still on the same topic that we were just trying to leave from, but it is dark side. My old keyboard player, his brother, well, it's his stepbrother, was actually arrested for all of that back in 2020. And he used to go to our shows. He's been at our band practices or whatever, and like, it's one of those things. But like, it's not only that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like those two little girls that were murdered in Delphi back in
I remember that. Yeah.
2017. Somehow he was connected with that too. Like they're all using this fake profile that was actually talking to those girls, and they've ended up arresting a guy that did it. But somehow that kid that used to be, well, my old keyboard player's stepbrother, was using the same screen name that guy was. It was like a weird pedo ring going on. I was like, dude, this is fucking crazy shit. That motherfucker was in the house that we were practicing in. He was around a lot and ended up doing that sick shit. So you don't really know with people these days.
Right.
Back to the music.
Back to the music. Hey,
I'm good. Let's go back to
the
music.
dark side went a little darker than it normally did. Ba-ba-da-bum.
I was
So,
like,
what's the?
don't
You
watch
wanted me to talk, and that's where it went.
No,
to.
yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah, thanks, Brandon. Like, can we remember backstage when I was back? Can we put him backstage. Put him backstage.
Yeah,
Backstage,
I'll
Brandon.
mute myself.
Thanks a bunch, buddy.
Yeah.
Now, get off mute now. Come on, I was kidding. This poor guy. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah, I know, right? So random. So, what is the future for the Chokies? Do you guys have like? Is that what you call your fans? Chokies? You should call them that.
No, we really shouldn't.
No.
And it's good to know that when it comes to advice or any sort of input for the band, I'm never going to ask Ed anything because he doesn't know fucking shit.
I don't know shit. Actually, how did you get your? You know, I've never asked you guys. How did you get your name?
When I was living in New Orleans, I was playing stoner rock with this bass player and a guitar player, and we were just kind of, man, it was crazy because this guitar player was probably one of the best riff writers I could ever found, ever, like on a fluke. We recorded everything we did because he could never remember what he played the last time. So like we'd play for hours and hours and get high in our studio and just record hours of tape and all these riffs. And I'd be like, you gotta remember that one. Blah, blah, blah. And like fucking hours of improv. We could have probably wrote 4 albums off the shit. I'm not even exaggerating.
That's awesome.
Back the next week and he wouldn't remember what we played the last week. And I was like, well, put the tape in. I didn't bring it. So we just constantly kept doing this.
This was before cell phones, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Probably. No, I had
that would probably have helped, just record.
Yeah, no, we were recording with on 4-track,
Okay.
So when the bass player guy came in, he was a real talented musician. He would improv right with us and stuff. He loved what we were doing. It's the same thing. He's like, well, how the fuck are we supposed to write anything if we can't remember riffs? And he would remember them and try to play them to the guy. And he's just like, let's just play something else. He was a total fucking hippie, man. You know what I mean? But anyway, the bass player one day, we were talking about if we were ever going to play a show. He's like, dude, we should just dress up as lumberjacks and call ourselves Chokesetter. And I was like, what's that? He goes, Chokesetter, man. It's the lead lumberjack in a fucking in a crew where they cut down trees and stuff.
Interesting.
I was like, oh. And I liked the name, but I was just like, do I have to wear a flannel? Because that's not really going to be very comfortable for me. So can I get like a tank top that's got a flag pattern on it or something?
Nice.
So, and then it was squashed. Anyway, years later, fast forward, and I get this band together with Steve and Jesse and this other guy at the time, and we're trying to think of names. And I don't know, Ed, I'm sure you too, Brandon, coming up with a band name is one of the most scariest and worst things possible.
I've never had.
Everybody has ideas, and most of them are absolutely fucking terrible.
I've never had to, like the bands I've been in. I've only been in 2 bands my whole life, which is fucking sad. But like,
really,
they only had the last band. The name was already there, but it's funny. It's Unquiet Eddie, but it's like, was it named after you? I'm like, yeah, sure. No, that was the name that was already placed before I showed up. And then,
well, I've been in a lot where we've had to come up with a name, and it's fucking cringe city, dude. Because
oh wow,
everybody's got this concept, and they're words that how you go and look in like the thesaurus or thesaurus or whatever, and synonym. Right. You're trying to find words that mean this, or what about if we call our name the Crow in Spanish, or some shit like that. Crow and you're like, I'm being sarcastic. The same reason like all the emo bands basically have a season and a month name in it, like October Ashes.
September Toilet.
October Ashes and fucking spray and all this stuff. So anyway, it's just cringeworthy, and like everybody was coming up with shit that nobody liked, And I was like, I even wanted to call us like, let's call ourselves Laser Wolf. And I thought that was dope for a stoner rock band.
That would work.
I fucking hate that name. And I was like,
Laser
because
Wolf.
you, sir, have no fucking creativity, Well, then they found out there was a band already called Laser Wolf, so it wouldn't have happened.
Motherfucker.
Anyway, I just popped that name out. I was just like, what do you think of Chokesetter, man? My friend in New Orleans made it up. This is what it means. And it's like, okay, I like it. Blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of stuck. And it's funny because people see our logo or hear our name and think it's got something to do with like fighting, or even Steve because he's in jujitsu and stuff like that.
You know
like,
what? I kind of thought that too, like some sort of like fucking move. Huh.
Yeah, no, it's totally.
Oh, wow.
If you look it up, it's a lumberjack that basically is in charge of piling all the together to be hauled away. So, yeah.
You should have like a lumberjack on one of your shirts, like chopping people down or something.
Well, our next album is going to be lumberjack
Oh.
oriented, and even fact, like when we re-release our album through Pavement, the new album cover has got a lumberjack on it. It's an all new cover and stuff. We're starting to incorporate that. The new album is going to be called Lumberjacks from Outer Space. So
nice.
We kind of talked to the guys about this a little bit, but now it's been like 7 or 8 months the last time we talked to anyone.
Yeah.
How is the label thing working out for you guys to release another album, or is this the first album you've released on there for?
Well, it's going to be the first and the only. This was kind of like a launch off point. It was like a trial deal through Pavement. Basically, they're going to re-release our record and put it out and market it for us. And I don't even know the extent of that, but it'll be on their label for sale. And it's kind of one of those things. It was just kind of like, I wanted to do it for more on the resume. We've got some good stuff out of it. I mean, that's part of the reason that we got our California shows when we did that last tour, when we got to play with Sponge at the House of Blues and then play with Doyle at the Whiskey at Go-Go, though they helped us with that. And it's got some perks, but we haven't really had the pleasure of doing it yet because they haven't released our record. It should be this year sometime soon. But I doubt we'll do it again just because when we got on board with it and they were doing auditions for like the trial stuff with bands, it was the first time we'd seen or heard of that, and there weren't many people on the website. Well, since then, within the past like year and a half, there's a lot they've added to that roster. So it's getting to the point where they're doing a lot new up and coming, and we're going to get buried. And I don't want that to happen, especially with some of the bands they've signed. It's not like our wheelhouse. I think we're going to try and find a band or a label next time that deals more of like with what genre we are kind of with, or somebody that's going to, get us in different avenues to play with the bands that we want. You know what I mean? So
this was back, I believe, in 2019. And I don't remember the guy's name. I still have the email somewhere. They reached out to the old band and they wanted us to be part of their artist whatever. And we had to pay them $10,000, it said, to get on there. I was like, why in the fuck would I pay $10,000 to hop on this label? So I never really got back to him because I was like, I don't have $10,000. And if I had $10,000, I'd invest it somewhere else rather than paying a label to, I don't even know what they were offering to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, they're usually their signature deal. We had done a prior thing with them before we did the artist partnership. It was kind of like a song promotional deal for a lot cheaper. It was still a good grip amount of money, but it still got us a lot of plays and results for Motor and stuff. But then when the chance to do this came up, it was kind of like they just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to get into details, but
no, it's fine.
Yeah, it was something we went with, obviously, and yeah, it's kind of one of the things we've got the, like, I guess the merit badge to use for a little while, and they're really nice guys. It's just that
It's the
if you
guy
look
from
at their
Soil, isn't it?
Tim, yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's the main guy, and he's a cool dude. And the other guy, he's like been the owner for a long time. I've never met him, but it's kind of like I just say, look at what they're doing with their roster, and they do kind of akin more to like new metal and kind of like radio bands and stuff like that. And
We were melodic death metal. I had no idea why they even wanted to deal
well,
with
and
this.
that's kind of what we figured. It's like, well, maybe we could be like if we caught like the wind, maybe if we got to be one of the cult following bands, kind of like a Clutch or something that does the good like Southern style stoner rock groove kind of stuff like that, and pick up on that and kind of be their merit for that. Well, we have yet to see if we're going to be able to pull that off, if they can try and market it in the right places and stuff. And I don't know. We'll see. This year will tell. But even if not, I mean, we're getting to know enough people, and we're working our asses off on our own to get stuff done. Like I'm constantly doing stuff trying to get emails and phone numbers for shit like that. And, finally hooked up with a guy who's going to be doing our booking for us and stuff, and we might even have him manage the band too. And he was in a big, like melodic, like deathcore band and stuff. They were called the Human Abstract. You guys,
What?
yeah,
What?
the lead singer for that band is our booking agent. So
Like the red-haired guy?
yeah, his name's Nate.
Oh, like the first singer, Ellis?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, I remember that guy. That's
yeah,
awesome,
yeah. So I talk to him all the time, and he really
dude.
likes
That
that.
fucking first album, man. You tell that
It's
guy.
the one that
Everybody
come out in
says
I
like
got a
that.
hard on.
2005,
Everybody,
2006 was fucking phenomenal.
yeah,
I got a hard
everybody,
on.
yeah.
Anyway.
So, but anyway, he really really likes us, and he's constantly talking. He's going to redesign our website and our EPK, and he knows people, and he's excited to really get us going. He's like, I think you guys really got something. I really want to help you get there. So, yeah, we're excited about that. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
cool.
I think everyone in my era of when we were doing the all age shit, like when PNB was first started out, everyone played that. I think it was a Bella the Oncoming Storm.
yeah. But everybody says I have to sit down.
Everyone was
and
doing that as a
figure it
sound
out,
check. I was like,
Yeah.
could no one else do anything differently?
Yeah.
But that was a huge thing back in like 2006 through 2008.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we're just trying, man. And I mean, it's like one of those things that it's always been one of my deals, man. If I ever get in a band and like make it somewhere, like I'd want to bring it back here, because there was something that I learned when I was living in New Orleans, and I think it would be cool around here in the scene if people thought about doing it. Is like, so, in retrospect, we all have our main bands. Like you've got Beyond the Fathoms, I've got Chokesetter, and everybody's so and so. But like, take hitters and just be like, you know what, man, we should get so and so and so and so and so and so. Do like a 3-4 song demo, even if you just write it online, and maybe even put a set together where you get a project band. And basically, in New Orleans, it was all the same guys, like dudes from Goat Whore, I Hate God, Crowbar, fucking Down, all those dudes, Corrosion of Conformity, doing different bands that they played in the clubs around there. And to be like the singer from this band, the bass player from this band, blah blah blah, and people would go and pack the place because it's people you knew, and it was something different. You know what I mean? And I was just like, man, you got all these talented dudes, and it's just be like, you've had this band that's just hell bent on doing like technical deathcore. All right, well, let's take the fucking drummer from this band and make him play doom metal, and like do different, even if it's country, like folk country shit, like a new project with members from other bands. It doesn't have to be a commitment
Right.
like huge. If it's something that bears fruit and takes off, by all means go with it, because the goal would be if you could turn LA or like South Bend into almost like a little LA, like, or something like that, to where people are thirsty to see this, that'll get the people out that like the metal crowd and stuff. Just, like say, oh, hey man, I hear Larry's playing in a project with Ed, and Ed's playing, we got these guys and da da da. You know what I mean? For example, it's just like, nobody's on the commitment thing like, oh, you're cheating on my girlfriend by doing this. It's basically just, you know what I mean? Like, it's for a time it was like, well, I can't because I got this band and blah blah blah. Dude, I'm asking you to write a few songs, maybe even a 5-6 song set, and fucking we record it and put it out and play a show here and there. And it's just like, okay, you know, if you're taking a break in your other band and you get this other band, hey, well, let's just get this out of the pocket and play a show here and there. And it's a show. It gets people out to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I was just always thinking, it's like, man, if I ever, you know, got in a band that made it far enough, I'd want to come back and try and help and produce other bands that I think they could get out there and stuff with what I'm trying to learn while I'm out there. And, you know, the other guys too, because we're all finding shit on our own. You know, like there'd be times I feel like stupid as fuck asking questions to people that have been in like national bands or stuff like that. I remember I didn't know what a writer was, you know. I thought part of it was like you have to put the pay you want in there and stuff. And basically, no, it's a hospitality list. I want a deli tray and I want a, you know, a gallon of Jack Daniels and stuff. I didn't know it was called a writer. I was thinking writer, what is you mean like how many miles we need before we get on the road?
Right, a voucher,
Like that, you know?
a voucher of some.
So like,
no, like
yeah.
this, like that's cool. Like a lot of people don't know a lot of those things, and then it's like cool that somebody would, you know, pass the information on.
And now I feel like that's kind of like one of my new name drops. Like, it's like, oh yeah, do you have a writer? And see if they know what I'm talking about.
The first time that happened was, I think, back in 16 or 17. And the sound guy asked, he's like, "Do you guys have a plot?" I'm like, "A what?" Stage
like,
plot.
I ain't dead yet, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
He's like, a stage plot. I was like, what the fuck is this guy? I ended up asking the guys in a group chat, like, what the fuck? They're like, how we want the stuff set up. I was like, how the hell am I supposed to know? You asked if we had a plot. I was like, I don't know. Do we have a?
You got a plot? No, I'll be cremated, bro. I'm trying to believe all that.
Like, you know, like my story. You know, it's weird because some sound guys like, no, I don't need that. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like you try to be a little bit professional, but then like you still get the fucking like, you know, local band mentality. Like, I don't.
It didn't matter to us. I think that was the show we played. We didn't even have a drummer, so everything was programmed.
Oh,
we did a full set without a drummer because the drummer, typical methamphetamine drummer. So,
yeah,
our drummer. It's funny. We actually called our drummer Ed because it was easy drummer, so we always referred to the laptop as Ed.
Nice. There you go. I would have pasted a face on him or some shit. Yeah,
right. Well, the lap.
Just
yeah,
cut
out. That should have done that. Cut the fucking picture out and put on the laptop his face on it.
Yeah,
that'd be funny. But yeah, what you're saying, like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to like that whole like try different band thing. I've only, I mean, I got time for.
Man, it'd be cool
cool
if you made like if there was like a Facebook group and like anybody that wanted to be involved, like
wasn't.
You know,
just before I interrupt you, wasn't there a similar thing like a Facebook like website for that? Like it would swap people. They would like get them together to write a song.
There was, yeah, and I don't know what happened with that. Now that was a cool idea, but I think that might have fizzled out because of people not having time, because it was kind of like okay, this is this and this or something. But if you went more of the casual route, like just had like a Facebook group that was it could be public or private, and just being like, hey, thinking about doing this, and then just like anybody that's interested in jumping in, even if it's something you've never tried, just to try, you know what I mean? Like myself, I'm not really a super technical drummer when it comes to like metal, but I mean, I could probably play for at best a little bit, well, probably a lot like Dave Lombardo or something, so I'd play some fast shit, you know, because that was the era that I came up with, was like that stuff. And you get drummers now that play that. Jesus Christ, I couldn't play like Swivelfoot if I had 3 fucking feet, man. So yeah,
no, I get it.
I'm all calves, dude, and you know, so that's fucking hard to do.
Yeah,
but my point would be is just like, you know, yeah, man, more project bands that just feature certain people and do different styles of metal than what they're like normally not doing, you know, just to have fun, man.
Yeah, I mean that's a good idea in a way. Like if I think like if you started it, I'm sure people would follow just because everybody knows you. But that'd be an idea.
It'd be
But
something.
yeah,
My thing would be keeping it going because I'm also busy, so I
sure,
would kind of help. It's bad enough because it's like a lot of my spare time is going toward Chokesetter right now, trying to get stuff done. But I definitely would be an active part of something like that. I just couldn't be the ringleader because
right.
it's I got enough on my plate trying to keep stuff organized. You know
That
what I mean?
that also reminds me. So like obviously you're a tattooist, like normally. So like your job is obviously flexible for you to like leave on tour and
Mhm.
well, I guess it would be because yeah, you basically kind of work for yourself in a way, because
Yeah, and the guy that owns the shop, he lets me do whatever I want.
yeah,
He's
that makes all the sense in the world for like that's how Nick is also
yeah.
Owsley. Nick Owsley. I don't know if he's listening here no more, but that should happen. There should be all these tattoo artists making a band. Like a side
Yeah,
project band.
I mean, I would just about jam with anybody because I used to really love playing. I remember, man, I was at you guys have hung out at Shine Bar before, right? Where
Yeah,
it used to be. Okay,
yeah.
there was one time I was in there some years back. It was on New Year's Eve, and there wasn't even a lot of people there, and I had just come from I think the Phoenix, and I was like, I'm just gonna go in here and stuff. It was late night, and I sat down by myself and with my buddy, and there maybe was like 8 or 9 people in there, and I sat by these two other guys at the corner of the bar, and we just started talking, and I found out one of them was a guitar player, and the other one was a keyboard player, and they got into like total noise core, like almost not noise core, but like noise shoegaze kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, shoegaze! All right, you just open a box because I like some of that shit." Fucking My Bloody Valentine's one of my favorite fucking bands. You know what I mean? So we ended up going back to the house at like 2 in the morning and playing and recording shit on their equipment, improvising to like 4 a.m. And I remember I was all fucked up, and the guitar players just like just fucking
That's
crazy
how it
stuff.
goes usually.
Yeah, and that's just kind of like my thing. It's just like I will always try to relish jamming with anybody because you just never fucking know what can come out of it. Because the more music there is anywhere, it's just better.
Yeah, true.
That's always going to be the golden rules. New music is never bad. So
Yeah, it's
it can
true.
sound terrible, but it's not a terrible thing to have because your plate of lima beans might be somebody else's chocolate Hershey's Kisses.
No, that's a good analogy there. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
true. This
Yeah.
shit tastes fucking terrible. Man, I kind of like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, see, that's how good.
So,
Little side note, apparently the Shine Bar is haunted.
is
But
it?
that's what I was told. That's what the bartender lady said that sometimes.
Better send them my way for the other podcast.
Yeah, like sometimes glasses and shit move. She's seen a shadow like in the
The
fucking
one time
hallway.
Wine bar, nobody would give me a beer, and I was scared as fuck, so I left.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she said she
But
saw.
how do you,
I guess what?
tell me the story. How you know it's haunted?
That's what the I can't remember the lady that works there. I don't know names.
Like the owner,
I think so.
Teresa, the older lady.
Yeah, her. She said like
Okay.
shit, like glasses would move, and then she saw a shadow in that fucking hallway where the bathrooms are. Shit like that. I was like, because that's fucking old building. I just thought of it just now how it could look like it was haunted.
Very true. She might have some ghosts in her head too. You never know.
You never know.
Times I thought I
Why
saw
did that place
ghosts in my
close?
house too.
Did the
Which
Shine Bar
place?
close?
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it
I'm out of
closed.
loop.
Nobody wanted to work there, man. Like even Teresa. Like this is what killed me about the place. Like it was a good hangout for like nighttime. You know what I mean? You didn't try to be a lunchtime place or nothing like that.
Is this the
It was
haunted
one of
one?
those,
Yeah.
yeah, I never knew it was haunted. I'd never,
Must be why no
I
one
never
wants to
had,
work
I never
there.
had experience in there.
They should have had metal shows
I've
there.
gotten fucked up like hell. That's about as haunted as it got. Like,
Yeah.
it.
That
But
metal show's what brought in those demons.
yeah, right. The stench of 1,000 fucking blah blah blah.
I did
Yeah,
not know it fucking closed. This is new to me. I
yeah.
mean,
No, it was a while ago. Yeah,
it's like it's Smith's died. It took the rest. It took the other bar out. Now the only things left is Phoenix.
yeah.
Huh.
I was bummed when it's closed, but now Teresa nobody wanted to work there, man. Like weekends, even Teresa didn't want to work there. I was like, it sucks that you own a business, it's a bar, and you just all you got to do is be open Friday and Saturday night. That was their busiest nights. That was the nights I'd go there. It's like just be open Friday and Saturday if you don't want to work during the week. People would still go,
It's
but
true.
like there's countless times people would want to go there and they're closed. Well, eventually people are going to stop trying. So there'd be weekend nights you drive by, wouldn't be a single fucking person in there because it was like I'm not even going to look to see if they're open because they haven't been open for the past 3 weeks. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's too bad.
I wasn't
It
aware of
is
this.
getting
That's
close to cutoff time.
Oh
Cutoff
no!
time.
What do you
Oh,
guys
no.
do? Exact like 2 hours, or how's that go?
I try and keep it under 2 hours so I don't have to do any actual physical editing stupid things.
I don't.
If-
I mean,
If it goes over 2 hours when I put it in like for something that doesn't automatically generate it.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we can cut it whenever you guys are
I get
ready.
well. Two quick questions before I let you leave. So,
He's got.
what would you tell your younger self?
What would I say to my younger self?
Yeah, throughout your little career, musical career, like anything, like what would you tell yourself?
Slow down, man.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I could be a little impatient and an asshole when I was younger. I mean, I still am, but not as
Sure.
bad. Yeah. So
Slow down.
slow
So,
down.
what would you tell a younger person? Like any advice for a younger person getting into music? Slow down.
No, man, I would say don't let anybody tell you you can't do it because you're only disappointing yourself. I mean, if someone tells you you suck, then get better. You know, like take the criticism. It's come to a point where I don't know the society. It's like it's mean or like out of spoken to tell somebody that they're not doing good or bad because it's a pat on the back kind of society and stuff. And to a point, I understand that because it's like there's a lot of insensitive things that you can do and be a bully, but at the same time, I think part of the reason that I've gotten where I've got with like my art and music is because people told me that it looked or sounded like shit. If no one tells you the truth, you're not going to know. You're going to go on being told by the people that care about you, oh, that's great, you should do this, this, and this, versus somebody that you look up to, a peer, is going to look at it and be like, that's terrible. Go back and do it again. You know what I mean? If you're learning how to play a cover song, learn how to play it to where it sounds exactly like it does on the stereo. Don't just half-ass it. You're not going to get good if you want to be in a band. It's articulation, like you have to practice. You have to get up on your shit. You have to be on your shit. Music and art is just like anything. You put into it you'll get back what you put into it. So the harder you work, the more fruit you're going to bear. So I guess I would just tell somebody, man, just go for it and don't step on anybody's toes to get there. It's pretty much it.
Nice. No, that's some good choice words there for sure. I like
It's
it.
the beard, man. Get to
Right,
be
it's
old.
the beer.
Words of wisdom for those people out there.
I know how that goes.
And don't eat those fucking taquito things when you go on tour, because your ass will
But
bleed.
it's 2 for 1, BOGO.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you better find 2-for-1 bathrooms because you have 3 people
2 for
shitting.
2 for 1 TP.
Yeah.
Well, Larry, I appreciate you coming on here and talking with Ed and I tonight.
Dude, it was great, man. I had a blast.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Awesome.
I guess wait, is there any song they can put on left, or have we put them on so much that
We've used all their material already? I'm sure.
That's all right, man.
Have Steve send us a song and we'll throw one on the
another one.
Just have us on later. We'll have some new material.
Well, it'd be Dustin's turn by
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So we got to
Yeah.
get Dustin on here whenever.
That is one thing you asked. If
You
we're
guys
going-
need to all fucking, the rest of you need to message him so we can get his ass on here too. Finally,
I'll talk to him this week.
Yeah,
and I'll
somebody.
talk to you guys. Yeah, we'll be going in the studio. We're recording like 3 new songs here in the next few weeks. So
Sweet,
we'll have
very
new
nice.
material in the next couple of months. So yeah.
We'll be the first place to release it at. That way, all 2 listeners get to see it first.
Hey man, I want to help you guys pump this stuff. Don't give it up, man. Stick with it. It's a cool little ditty, you know. I think
We're
just gotta advertise a little bit more, but I'll help, dude. You know, let me know
Our
what
thing is, or at least my thing is, we were trying to do it every week, but
I haven't been abducted by a large man with large eyes. I understand, but
they, I don't want to do it weekly anymore, just because kind of overkills it. I think.
oh yeah, no, one a month.
So
Maybe.
I figured we'll just do it whenever someone wants to come on the show.
Yeah,
There you
keep
Yeah.
it fresh. Because then, after a while, I was like, man, I'm repeating myself and forgetting
Yeah.
who everybody is. So, like, yeah, I see why.
Yep. No, I get you.
I do 2 or 3 interviews a week already for my other show. And
How are you
trying-
not? How are you not burnt out from that? I was wondering.
I don't know.
Do you can I do you really quick when you
It makes money.
no when you interview somebody like you use like that kind of just the same voice like so when the alien stuck the probe in your asshole did you crunch it all or was it very comfortable?
No, to be honest, I don't really ask them too many detailed questions like that.
You let
I
them
haven't,
do all the talking. Okay, that's.
I
cool.
haven't really. No, I for the
I'm
most
just
part,
fucking with you, man. I can't help it.
I don't really ask them like specific questions like that. And I haven't had anyone that's really come on there and said they were really probed by aliens. Anyways, the only guy that said something
When
about
you
it.
saw Bigfoot, did you shit your pants or just moderately fart to where you can still run away? You know?
Wow.
You have a radio voice. I don't. I sound like a fucking.
Everyone keeps saying that I
He
have
does.
a radio voice.
You do. You got the booming voice. I sound like I'm fucking like 18 in a 51-year-old man's body. It's really fucked up.
I just sound weird. I hate the sound of my fucking voice anyway.
I had a buddy that told me, he's like, man, you have such a soothing radio voice. He's like, I just listened to it forever. I was like, the fuck are you talking about?
He's jerking off to it, huh?
Start
I
reading
don't-
stereo instructions and selling it to calm. Be like, take A and plug it into plus B. And like, they give it to me. I'd be like, dude, I slept like a fucking baby when you did that instructional video to that dresser that I bought the other day. You know,
Someone told me recently that I was interviewing that I could be a AI voice. They said you could be one of those people that do the AI voices. You say all the words and then it'll use your voice to replicate things. I was like, huh?
oh, don't get into that shit. That's so scary, man. Yeah.
Ian says, good episode, fellas. Get a hold of me about getting a show together. Brandon has to come too so I can hear his shit talk someone in that sultry radio voice. There we go. You got a fan.
Yeah, Ian. Hell yeah.
I'm always here to shit talk people. It's what I do best, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
All right. Well, we've got like 2 minutes, so gonna close on out here. So anyone out there listening, all 2 of you,
And don't hang up, Larry, so he
Yeah.
can save the thing. We keep.
yeah, we
Okay.
need to just stay
Did you
on
tell
here.
him? Did you tell him? Okay.
But Dark Side of the Scene will return some point whenever someone else wants to come on here and shoot the shit with us.
Email.
Yeah, email darksideofthescene@gmail.com because that is the new email because I am not paying for the other one.
You cheap bastard.
Right.
They want
Nothing
$80 for an
cheap
email address. I told them to go fuck themselves.
Jeez.
All right, well, thanks to Larry.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Check out Chokesetter. See you guys.